thank you. This is an interesting one. I almost want Lieutenant Watala up here. Is that appropriate to have Lieutenant up here for any of these things?
Absolutely.
I'll start. Thank you for coming. And so when we're up here on this dais, right, our job is really to best understand these issues and make, decisions in short order of time, right? None of us are experts in law enforcement or education well, I guess we have some education experts, right?
Trick.
But we're all just sort of trying to make the best decision, right? And we talk about data all the time. Data. And that's smart. That's a smart strategy. So when we were presented with this information, this 1,798 police actions, that's a lot, right? And I got some pushback on this around saying that it's astronomical. I think that the number should be 0, right? Isn't that always the goal? Isn't anything above that citations? Okay, we can talk, that may be a deeper philosophical conversation, but what I'll say is, anytime there's one of these incidents, right, it's a disruption to the classroom, it's a disruption to the principal, and we want to minimize these, don't we? Isn't that not the goal? We want to minimize sort of the citations and the tickets and all of these police actions, right? Is that ultimately the goal of our SROs?
I personally feel the ultimate goal is the best environment for our students
Sure.
and the welfare for them. And so when it comes to those incidents, please take into consideration, yes, the rounding up to 1,800, that seems like a lot, but understand that those incidents are police reports. When it comes to police reports, some of those reports are reports that the student needs to make in order for their welfare and their well-being to occur. And then on top of that, it could be other things as simple as a lost cell phone. And so even though we're saying, yes, we don't want all of these interactions to be happening, I would say that no, in some instances, we want those interactions to be occurring, especially if it is the welfare of the children that are involved and that we need to step in order for that welfare to be addressed and for them to be safe.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are other incidences that, yes, we have to take into consideration as, is this some kind of linkage? And the data is studying. I think that we do need to take a look at the data. And my thought would be, is what program do we put in place? Ultimately, that's the question. And currently, this is what we have. And on top of that, though, it's not that it's solidified and it needs to stay a certain way. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's one of those things where we can remain dynamic. We can take a look at data. And we can say, okay, according to the data, how can we best suit the needs of our Las Cruces community? And I think you've heard it. I apologize, I had another meeting that I needed to be at earlier tonight, but it sounds to me like you've heard that there is engagement activities happening. And for us then, it behooves us to, how can we best report that? And so in my first address to you, we looked at those engagement initiatives and what we can do. And again, how do you qualify that when it comes into statistical data? It's hard, but at the same time, I think it comes down to trying to find that alignment between our heart and the logic in our heads. And so I think when it comes to Madam Counselor or Madam Board Member, I was just at City Council. Sorry, in council chambers. President, and other board members. I think obviously that onus is on you, and to say, what are we doing? Because there is a component reality that even if we're not there, we're still going to be called back.
Yeah,
we're still going to be called back.
I appreciate that clarification, right? And so that's when we asked for this data, and it was the data that Member Carroll meant the 630 and some. That's a much different number than 1,700, right? So now we can make a better, more informed decision and feel more confident moving forward, right? And I don't think there's anything ever wrong with asking for accountability. We ask for accountability of every single person we work with in this district. And the police department, you probably want us to ask for accountability, I'm imagining.
I have
yes.
worked in our internal affairs
Yes.
section. I am fully aware of accountability.
Yes.
Yes.
And it is a completely fair and reasonable ask of anybody. I just want, and by asking that, it's not anti-police. It's not necessarily a political stance per se, right? It's a fair, everybody, accountability from our custodians, food service, police officers, principals, teachers, everybody, right? And I think that's a fair ask. And I appreciate you guys coming here, and I appreciate the stories that are coming from our students. My daughter's at St.